Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're once again gonna be discussing another champion that I do believe is great. I do genuinely believe it's gonna be a good champion that helps people, that many people like, that is usable, that is a good rank up decision, that is helpful, helps people save units, is a great champion, but I hate to play with. So here's a big difference, and again, to avoid another war in comment section, which inevitably seems to always happen despite my best intentions, saying that I do realize that these are good champions. Like in the Stack Enhanced Spider-Man video, I immediately got a bunch of comments, yeah, but Stack Enhanced Spider-Man can do this and that and that, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't like him. Like, you don't have to change my mind on the fact that they are great champions, right? And you will not change my mind on the fact that I do not find them entertaining, interesting, or enjoy playing them. It's quite simple as that. So this is not a video about the quality, usability, or greatness of this champion, or whether this champion should be what tier or whatever not. This is a simple video with the things I personally dislike about my user experience while playing these champions. Therefore, I typically avoid using them altogether. Obviously, I still do if I have to or if necessity calls for it. All of that being said, today's video is going to be episode number 4, and we will take our sights at a mutant gentleman here with clear issues when it comes to clothes, I guess. He hasn't heard of a t-shirt and has a very weird looking feet with some wings on it. Like, I don't think he understands what's happening about, but either way, he has a quite cool looking trident over there. We can take a look at it. It's definitely quite impressive. Has trident and has some sort of axe mount under it, and again, he just doesn't get it. I guess it's either or. Make a choice, dude. Whatever. That's Namor, right? And the problem with Namor, well, I have two big problems with Namor. Number one is the fact that he is a one-trick pony, and aside from being able to reflect all of the damage he's taking while attacking opponents, which is cool, which is extremely useful ability, which is fantastic, one of the more kind of like powerful signature abilities in the game, and definitely kind of like a must-have in my opinion for an endgame player, because it does answer a lot of problems. But that makes him valuable, that makes him needed, and prestige obviously, but that signature ability is what makes him great. Now, when you look at everything and anything else about the character, he's a dud. Effectively, when you combine all of the other abilities in this long ability description, he can bleed opponent. He has 30% chance to bleed opponent with like medium attacks and some bleeds in level 1. He has some chance to stun the opponent, right? And nothing else. Okay, you can technically count in as some sort of relatively small amount of regeneration. If you're running suicides, that regen can actually become quite potent as well, I believe. Okay, so he can regen slightly, he can bleed opponent, and he has a 50% chance to stun the opponent. That's it. That sounds like, I don't know, Black Panther? Yeah, I think Black Panther Civil War can bleed the opponent, can stun the opponent. Okay, he can't regen, but I think well, at least he has armor ups or some other stuff. That is a champion for 2015 or 2016, right? As a base ability kit. Take away the signature ability, everything else around him is so lazy and so ancient and so boring. There's nothing interesting happening. There are no new interesting mechanics. There's legit bleed, there's legit stun, and a bit of heal, and that's it, right? Like, no matter how pretty you try to dress it up, and this entire thing, like, once you really pay attention to it, it's kind of like putting a lipstick on a pig. Yes, he has this whole mechanic with building these enraged charges, Imperious Rex mechanic, but that actually doesn't do anything as well. It lets him access some more damage, can make gives him some power effectively, and that's it. There's no other kind of like utility or usability. When you actually take a look at the champion, he sucks. Only reason what makes him decent is the signature ability, and to a degree the damage you can get from spamming level 3s. But that whole level 3 thing and fury and the burst damage potential is what we're going to cover in a bit when we get to it, right? But honestly, now read every single ability this guy has And he doesn't have jack. He has a signature ability, small heal, and that's it. Okay, I guess it's kind of cool to be able to drop a couple of special attacks in quick succession, but those special attacks don't do anything. Those special attacks have a chance to inflict bleed and have a chance to stun. There's nothing else happening, right? So it's actually, he's very, very basic champion. Yes, signature ability is the ability that do give him quite a bit of depth, and if you get creative with it, you are able to deal with varied different problems, right? But it's still annoying and still boring. And as soon as you get over the fact that it's kind of giddy and cool to be able to reflect Thorns damage, because Thorns used to be such a pain in the bottom for so long, and once you get used to it, there is nothing enjoyable in this champion, right? Mainly because, in addition to being boring in his ability set, he also hits like an absolute noodle. Like, he reminds me of using Loki kind of like against champions that do not buff or can't be cheesed with like curse or something. He doesn't really hit hard at all. His base damage is kind of fairly pathetic. and that is the biggest problem, because in an average length fight, you don't typically have to use that level 3, or do even get to using that level 3, or even more so, you don't want to use a champion that requires you to use a level 3. When you go in uncollected event quest, and if you have 6 rank 5 champions, and one of those 6 rank 5 champions is Namor, I can guarantee you the Namor is the one that you want to put on the side, because you don't have 72 hours in a day to finish a path of uncollected, because you had to watch 93 level 3 animations in order to do some damage. No, it's annoying, it's stupid and silly, and this champion, out of all the champions in this game, is the one that definitely makes you wish, beg, and pray for skip special 3 animation button, because not only he has to have multiple special 3s in any kind of decent length fight, they're also long as hell. Now, like, Dr. Doom is also a champion that does have to shoot off a lot of special 3s, but at least it's shorter, and I don't know, for whatever reason, I find it more interesting. Perhaps it shows my home scenery or any other reason, but Namor seems extra long and extra gruesome and extra painful. Yes, it was fun the first day, the second day less so. Now, half a year in, it sucks. I hate it, and if I can help it, I will avoid using level 3 on purpose, even if that makes the fight longer overall, because I'm tired of it. I don't want to see it ever again. No. I hate it. And that is a big problem, right? Because if you take in Namor, and as I described, at least for me, it's always because of necessity, never of my preference. Yes, never of my preference. It's always a necessity. Like in 6.3, we have a Lane of Thorns. You know what that means? That means I'm gonna have to use this guy for pretty much every single fight on the lane. You know what that means? I'm gonna have to struggle through a dozen or 24 level 3 animations, and I hate every single moment of it, because I don't know about you, when I have decided to dedicate some of my time to this game and play it and clear some content, that's what I want to be doing. I do not want to take a 10-15 second pause every time I throw a level 3 attack. I might as well be going making sandwiches, because that is how long it is. Because what happens when you drop your first level 3, you need to quickly find an end to your opponent, drop another level 3 whilst you making tea, I guess, because you do not like dry sandwiches. It's boring, it's annoying, I hate using Namor. There, I said it. I can't get over the fact that level 3 is so tedious and long. And that's the problem with the guy. That's the only way to play him in order to do any decent amount of damage. Many champions have options, right? You can do that strategy and drop your level 1s and 2s and heavies or something, and then you can like do a level 3 and you get this burst and go back to level 3. And most of the champions in the game don't even even properly encourage you using level 3, at least do not demand it. Namor does it, and he doesn't give you an alternative. If you do not drop the level 3s, you do nowhere close to the equal amount of damage as you do with them. Therefore, you're stuck in between a rock and a hard place. The fight is going to be long whether you use the level 3 because the animation is so long, or the fight is going to be so long because you hit like an absolute wiener, like you hit at the level of a 3-year-old Girl Scout. I do not know whether they do have 3-year-old Girl Scouts or that is too young, but that is how I imagine a 3-year-old girl punching. It's pretty much as a maxed out Namor in this game without his level 3 Fury. And therefore, I absolutely hate using this guy. And what makes it typically worse, as I mentioned before, is because you don't normally bring him in for one fight. If you have, you typically end up bringing him for an entire lane. And so you have to do it again and again and again. And at some point, you just kind of want to say, screw it. I'll buy 50 revives and I'll use Ghost or Corvus or whatever. At least I will not want to blow my brains out watching some 2 eels bite a fool. That sounded like it could be a different type of movie. Either way, that will about do for Namor, I believe. Just hate him. Like, yeah, I hate his level 3. I hate the fact that there is no alternative to using the level 3 in order to access any sort of damage. And aside from his signature ability, he's straightforward, boring 2015 crappy champ that's just dressed in fancy ability descriptions but that effectively don't do anything. Once again, think it through. Take away signature ability, what he does. He has a chance to inflict bleed on an opponent, relatively low, relatively weak, and he can heal a bit. That's it. There's nothing else. And he's awkward. That's the last bit that I didn't mention, that all of it kind of requires some timing as well. And if you miss that timing after your level 3s, or if opponent has too much power when your Imperious Rex would activate, then you have to wait it all over again, and you effectively wasted more time of your life. So yeah, that is the problem with Namor. He's obviously a great champion. He's obviously good prestige rank up. He's obviously useful and will be helpful in endgame content. But God help me, I hope I never have to use him. Right? It's good to have. It's like reassuring to have. But God, I do not want to use this guy like ever. That's what I think about Namor. That's about it. And now that we are done dissing Namor, I think it's only fair that we designate our next target. And when it comes to the next target, for a moment I thought skipping over him, but then somebody actually had a conversation with me about this guy, and I couldn't ignore it, and it was fresh in my mind, and we're gonna have to talk about it. Oh, we're gonna have to talk about it hard. It's this fool, this cheap Power Ranger looking fool that I can understand why people like him. I can understand that he's not a horrible champion. There's some good stuff going for him, but I hate him. I hate everything about the way you have to play this guy. But we'll save all of that sweet talk for next episode, for episode number 5. So this was episode number 4, where I kind of vented about Namor a bit. And next one, it's Darkhawk. So if you like Darkhawk, if Darkhawk is one of your favorite champions, if you enjoy playing Darkhawk, then I am certain you will want to stay tuned for the next episode. And yeah, that will do for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you did, do not forget to hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit all the buttons, and I'm gonna catch you guys soon. See ya.